tough. I don't think we should deny that it's tough. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Tim. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are we all?
We're all well.
Right.
Good.
Hi.
Good. Love to see you all. Sorry, do carry on. I interrupt.
Hi, Tim.
That's all right.
It's all right. We're just saying hello and catching up.
As people log on.
Hmm?
We're just saying hello and catching up as people log on.
Good. Oh, good.
Well, when I was in my 20s, I sang with quite a big choir in London, called the London Emmanuel Choir.
Nice.
And we had an engagement every weekend, which was quite demanding. And I really haven't been in touch with them for 40 years. And suddenly, because of lockdown, some bright spark decided to do a WhatsApp group.
Oh, brilliant.
And that's led on to a Zoom meeting tomorrow morning, it's 11 o'clock. So
Nice.
Wow.
a whole host of people I'll be seeing from 40 years ago.
Will you
Wow,
recognise them?
fabulous.
I don't.
How lovely.
That's really good. Now I can say hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Well, I found bridge online because I play bridge, and I'm now addicted to it. I can't put it down.
Oh.
It's absolutely fabulous. Every time I have a few minutes, I come in and play another few hands, and then I disappear again. It's brilliant.
Well done.
Nothing gets done though.
Well, that's all right. That's fine.
There's plenty of time. It'll happen tomorrow or next month.
Which is getting done.
I was reading an article about people like me who can't settle to writing and this, that, and the other. And Kit Duvall, the guy who wrote The Hare with the Amber Eyes, do you know that?
Yes.
I read it. He said, actually, it doesn't matter if we spend the next 2 or 3 months doing jigsaws. It doesn't
that's it.
matter. We don't have to get things done. You know, it's a way of coping, I suppose.
Well, I feel guilty when I think of all the things that I could be doing, like cleaning cupboards and, doing. I feel guilty and I think I should be doing it. And then I think, bugger it.
Absolutely. I love it, Maggie.
Jeffo, Maggie.
There is this feeling that you ought to make use of the time to do useful stuff that you don't normally have time to do.
Yes, that's true.
So I saw this marvellous cartoon recently. 2 huge bears were sat reclining with a glass of wine. And one says to the other, "What are you going to do today?" "I'm not going to do anything today. I'm doing nothing." He said, "But that's what you did yesterday." "Yeah, but I didn't finish."
Yes. Nice.
Love it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Can I just say a quick thank you a minute to Alison and David for putting up the stuff on the website? Thank you.
Oh, yes.
I hope it's a help.
Yes, fabulous. Thank you.
And to Jo for her letter.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, you can
Lovely
say that to her when she comes on in a minute.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I emailed her as well to
Yeah.
say thank you. Because
Good.
thank you to you, Jenny, too.
No, you don't need to
All
thank
of this.
people.
Yes, come on, Jenny. And doing the Constitution and all of that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Indeed.
Just what needs doing.
I know, but.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Look, you see, he disappears out the door and he'll come round and come in the other one in a minute.
That's fabulous.
Well,
Withdrawal.
He might. He hasn't. Where's he gone?
Getting the glasses out.
I get his glasses out. Sue wanted a glass of wine.
Oh.
There we are. Hold on. I got to hold it for the camera. You got it?
excellent.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Remind me what we're singing in the Faure. What's the Faure we're singing?
Cantique de Jean Racine.
A well-known one.
Your glass. I'll just my full thing.
It's not in the rack, Maggie.
Oh, well, I haven't got it then. I haven't printed it off.
Is it in that book of choruses?
You can borrow mine, Maggie.
Choruses. No, it's not, is it?
I don't
Ready?
know. It's in the
Very
European Sacred.
popular.
Have you got that one, Maggie?
Yeah, I have.
Go get that one because it's in there.
Hang on, I'll have to move.
Hi, Mary. Need to turn your sound on, Mary.
Oh.
Unmute your mic, Mary. Mary, there.
I was clicking on the wrong one. I'm not like you with computers.
Good, you're there. Are you?
Hey?
Right.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay, yeah.
Good.
I thought I'd just try and get this thing going, and it actually insisted I rebooted right in from the start of the room. So I don't know what it's playing at, but it was.
But you're here now. That's
I'm here.
Hi, Roy.
Oh, hello, Roy.
All right.
I'm going to disappear now. So I want to go
I've
and
got a
get
glass of wine now, so I'm all right.
Yes, hi, Roy. Oh, you need to unmute your mic.
Hello there.
Hi.
I must get a top up.
I think I'm better organised.
You okay?
Yeah,
Roy,
fine.
you okay? Good.
Has anybody heard the video or seen the video of Pavarotti's granddaughter singing?
No.
Well, I don't know how to send it to anybody because it's come on WhatsApp, so if I haven't got the phone numbers, I can't do it. But
What I'll do is if I send you my.
Oh, yes.
Is that with Andre Rieu?
Yeah. So that's on YouTube, is it?
I've been clearing out my loft, and I came across this service, which we used as children in my family, and I didn't think it was worth anything. And then I googled it on eBay and found it's actually quite valuable. There was just a cup and saucer there for £15 each. So what the whole set is worth, I don't know. So if I can be bothered, I'll try and sell it.
Well done, you. Worth clearing out the loft then.
Sue, I'll send out the link for that because I know where that is.
well, I've got it on my WhatsApp, but if anybody else wants it, it's fascinating. When she can only be about 11.
Yeah.
Can't imagine how she has a voice like that.
Yeah. He's opened her mouth and this enormous voice comes out.
Yeah.
Thought, where does that come from?
Francis says we might as well give up now.
Hello, we've lost.
Hi, Izzy and John. Do you want to turn on your... there you are, sound on. Hi. And how are you?
Izzy's gone for a walk. She'll be back shortly.
No mascots tonight.
She had too much stuff. And know what?
Mascots.
Oh, no. I'll sort something out.
Yeah, we're missing 2 mascots tonight. Hi, Wendy.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Hello, Wendy.
Everyone all right?
Yes.
Maggie's gone walk back. There she is. She's back again.
Hi.
Find your music, Maggie.
I got the music and I dropped my phone on the floor, so that was it.
Apart from that.
Apart from that, I'm
the
all
mascot
right.
is back again. Wonderful.
How's your knee, Maggie?
It's much better, thank you.
Oh, good.
Much better.
Oh, good.
Thank you for asking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tim is frozen.
Yeah, I think he isn't really
No,
frozen.
he isn't frozen.
He's thinking.
Pretending he's not there.
He's thinking and laughing.
Oh,
Sorry. I was just deep in singing technical thought. I'd also muted myself so that I could test all the speakers and stuff.
Right.
But I often look like I'm frozen when I'm thinking, which is often because I am as well. Let me
You
just.
look like Rodin's thinker.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to turn my heating on.
We're so reliant on all this technology at the moment, and I knocked my iPad recently and a little connection has come loose, so it's all gone in a peculiar colour. So everything is in sort of turquoise and reds, and I've tried to put it right. I looked on the YouTube to see the solutions, and the solutions were mainly hit it on the back. Right? But, you know, it works, but it's all a funny colour. But I'm on my PC now, which is perfect.
Yeah.
There's two options: turn it off and turn it on, or
Yeah, I
work
know.
it.
Oh, yes, well, neither work.
All this technology causes a lot of high blood pressure in this house.
It does. It does, yeah.
And a lot of shouting.
Yes, I have a friend on a life support system, and the doctors have tried everything. Turning it on, turning it off, still no joy.
Where are you, David?
Sorry?
It sounds as if he ought to be in the pub.
Oh, there you are. I can't see you. People keep swapping places.
Yes, it's most disconcerting.
I know.
I was in the middle, but I've now elevated to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, your full picture with me, David. I've only got you on my screen.
Oh. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Martin.
Hello.
Hi.
You can't have anybody better on your screen.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
How's Cornwall?
Cornwall, it's jolly cold today. We put the heating back on.
Yes, we have too.
I've just been and switched mine back over.
It's a freezing cold wind, and actually we haven't done much outside because we've just finished another puzzle, but it's very cold wind.
Mm.
Yeah, you've got bad weather forecast overnight tonight as well, haven't you?
Yes. Thanks a lot. Yeah. I think
Sorry about that.
Well, it poured with rain last night.
Yeah.
Well, it's glorious weather in Wiltshire.
Well, the cloud over Hastbury has finally cleared. Now it's too late
we've
to
got
do
blue
anything.
sky.
Yeah. It's been a line just over the plain and not actually with the blue sky and the cloud over Hastbury all day.
Just spoken to our daughter who lives up near Burley, up in the Midlands, and she said they've had a lovely day. It's cold wind, but blue sky all day.
Lucky them.
Yeah.
It's been blue sky all day in Melksham.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're the other side of the plain, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your side of the plain, over the plain was blue. It just looked as if someone had drawn a line across the sky, a dead straight line.
The plain is a great divider, actually.
It is, isn't it? Yes.
Where in Cornwall are you, Rosie?
We're not actually in Rock, but we are there. We're on the estuary, virtually opposite Padstow.
Oh, I love Padstow.
Lovely.
And it must be lovely now with nobody there, with no trippers. It must be so beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
Rock, the home of Doombar.
Yeah, the Doombar.
Yeah, it's just up the road. We pass it on one or two of our walks.
Oh, do you take buckets up and get lots of cheap beer?
Well,
it's not open.
It's all pretty quiet. You all look pretty quiet.
Yes, apparently there's a lethal sandbank, a sandbar just outside of Rock.
It's called the Doombar.
And it is called the Doombar, hence they called the local beer after it.
Yeah, it's marked on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had some very low tides, so we've seen it. And over the last 2 years, there's been such storms. The sand in the estuary has changed completely and created another channel and little sort of inlets, which would be lovely for small children to paddle in. We haven't gone in the water, it's too damn cold.
Not even paddle.
Are you isolating in Cornwall?
What?
Are you isolating in Cornwall?
Are we watching?
Isolating?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes, I mean, apart from these sessions, where Rosie and I are always 2 meters apart.
Rubbish. We have a weekly one on Saturday with all our children, which is hilarious because they just rag each other and it's very funny.
We can't get away in Edinburgh.
I had one with my grandchildren, and they actually made me feel quite giddy because my eldest grandson kept altering the backdrop behind the screen. I was going.
Oh,
giddy.
yes.
Oh yes,
Please,
ours
stop it.
have done that. Yeah, we've had that too.
Horrible.
Well, one son who was sitting in our kitchen, he suddenly was sitting in front of the most beautiful palm island, in the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's right. I was getting
And then suddenly we had behind him his,
across the screen. It was dreadful.
suddenly behind him turned up his old headmaster.
Cheers.
Yeah. I see you've come equipped with a glass, as everybody should be.
Yeah, it's we're not going to run out. We've just replenished. It's always half time.
The tea has changed to wine, Alison.
Jenny, you and David are the technical experts. If Tim didn't mute us, would we be able to hear each other?
Yes, but it would all be not
distorted.
It'd be horrible, I should think. Different speeds.
It wouldn't be in sync, and so the louder voices overtake softer voices. Basically.
Yeah, we tried with the Minerva rehearsals.
Oh, yeah.
They asked if the one person per voice would sing. They muted everybody else, but they wanted one of each voice to sing a lot to help everybody, and it was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous because everybody was singing at a different speed.
Yes,
depending on their signal. It was all.
Presumably, Tim doesn't hear us either, does he?
No.
No,
well, he's lucky.
Lucky him.
Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Oh,
No, it's just your neighbours that hear you in this time.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Joe, did you get hold of Graham Coventry?
I did, and he sends his love to everybody, his best wishes. I think I'm not quite sure that he got the drift of the fact that he didn't actually have to sing in public. But anyway, he's leaving everything until the autumn, I think, is the answer. Yeah. But he was pleased to be asked.
Oh.
This is Graham Coventry, who's he's finished his treatment, but he's still having regular checkups.
Oh, how good to hear from him.
He was very...
Jenny, have you contacted Anne Twin? Not Anne Twin, Anne.
Anne Coventry.
Vine, sorry.
Anne Coventry.
Anna Vine.
Oh no, I haven't. I have heard from her, but not just in the last couple of weeks.
Jane Shaw.
She was not up to doing Zoom, basically.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
What's happened to Anne Coventry? Does anybody know?
Paddy would be the one, probably.
Hello, who are you? Who did that?
Tim.
Sorry. I was just. Oh, sorry.
You all disappeared.
Hang on. Oh no. Can you see each other again?
No, we've just got. You've shared your screen, and we've got your.
Oh right, hang on.
You've got you. I've got two.
Oh, hang on. There we go. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. That was a bit.
You can't interrupt the chat, Tim.
That was a bit advanced, wasn't it? Things you can get away with.
How are you, Tim?
I'm very well. Yes. Oh, very well. Let me just pull up the chat so I'm not crouching around. Yes. I'm reliably informed that something has happened since last week, but I've no idea what it is. So that's my news.
What, something has happened?
Well, as in, like, something must have happened because a week's gone by.
I see what you mean.
But I've no idea what. So,
one has no idea what the day is.
No, I wake up and don't have any idea what.
No, I don't have it.
If the guy on the radio in the morning when I wake up didn't tell me what day of the week it was, I wouldn't know either.
One of my friends. A really busy day. I haven't even downloaded the music yet, so I've got to get on with that while you're doing the theory.
Oh, that's a good excuse, Joe.
I should do it during the warm-up.
Find your copy of Elijah, because you'll have one somewhere.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that lovely letter.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Joe.
Well, thanks to Tim and Jenny for doing so much. That's amazing.
Could you remind me of what actually is the December programme that we're going to stick with? Because I can't remember what it
yes,
was.
that's a point. Yeah.
Well, I think I have to go to Tim for that one.
That's fine. We're doing it's Mozart and Friends, basically. So we're doing the two big pieces that we're doing. We're doing the Mozart Coronation Mass, which I think a number of you know. If you don't, it's really fun. And we're doing one of his earlier, lesser-known liturgical pieces. He wrote 4 sets of litanies, which was a service that they celebrated in Salzburg Cathedral, where he was director of music for a short time before he fell out with the Archbishop, which he seemed to do regularly with everyone he came across. So we're doing one of those settings, which it's in an earlier style. It's much more florid. It's got some very sort of flashy, showy-offy solo parts. So that could be fun. And then we're doing 2 bits of Haydn, one by the famous Haydn, Insane et Vane Cure, which is a Latin motet, which is in the Purple books, which a number of you got for the Come and Sing Day, and a setting of the Te Deum by his brother, Michael Haydn, who Mozart was very good friends with. I believe at some point Mozart ended up completing a commission which Michael had fallen. Michael Haydn was meant to be writing 6 string quartets and had forgotten to do it, so they just stayed up all for an entire week just drinking and writing string quartets, and together they finished it for him. So anyway, so those are the pieces, and we're getting 4 soloists, and it's going to be with Simon Dinsdale on the organ, and the soloists will do a couple of other small items, I think, just to...
That sounds lovely.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
we'll get back together to rehearse.
Yes.
We have to hope and pray that everything works out, that we can all get together again and have a concert, and won't have to have too much social distancing by then.
We'll just have to rehearse online for the time being.
Yeah. I'm keen not to... towards the end of this term, if we're thinking in terms, I'll start looking at maybe some of the less familiar Mozart things. I'm not sure. I don't want to start it too early, because it's possible if we start now and then are still doing it in November, we might feel like we've been doing it for forever, especially since we're going to be doing the Faure program in a year's time. Yes. So that's already sort of, we're not going to be rehearsing it for a whole year, but it will feel like it's been sort of stretched. So I don't want to do too much of it. But towards the end of this term, I think we'll do a little bit of that, just to get ourselves up and running.
Sounds like a good idea.
For just now, shall we do a little bit of music theory and reading for those who want it, and then we'll start. Hang on, let me get my. Let me see what the time is, and then we'll.
Janet speaking. Hello, Janet.
Hello, Janet. And then we'll start in about 13 to 15 minutes, I would have thought, with warm up and the singing, which is going to be one of the movements from Elijah. Blessed are the men who fear him, and the Faure Cantique de Jean Racine. So I'm just going to, I'll start as customary by muting you all, and then we'll crack on.
Tim, can I say we so enjoy this with you. It's terrific. Thank you very much.
Good. Well, I'm glad that I could do something. As much for my own benefit as for all the viewers. And as always, if there's all the advice I've had since I joined you guys in January has been couched in the most helpful and positive way. So the more helpful and positive advice you want to pass on, it's really welcome. But thank you.
Before
Super.
you mute us, can I just ask, are we doing the Faure in French?
We are. Yes. We're going to be doing it with the choir of the Paris Orchestra, Le Corps de Orchestre Paris, who are good at French, amazingly.
Glad to hear.
Fine, let's crack on. All right, muting away, and then share. This one, I don't think we're quite at the right slide yet. Okay, let me just scoot back and get this one all. All right. Okay, that's the wrong one. Can you all see the blank, wee blank page there? Thumbs up if you can. Good. Right. Okay. So, quick recap of what we've covered so far. We've covered these ones, which are our tars. These are 4 tars. And they're also known as crotchets. I'm going to start referring to them more by their official names, because for reasons that will become clear. And then if we want to have quicker notes than this, we can split them up into 2 notes per tar. And these are our tartes, also known as quavers. So 4 crotchets take the same time as 8 quavers, which take the time of 16 semiquavers or 4 taffetivis. So ta 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 te ta te ta te ta te taffetivi 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 taffetivi, and there's 16 of those. And then if we want to go take slower notes, we can have a ta-ah, and we call that a minim. And if we want to have the slowest possible note that we're going to worry about, it is 1 ta-ah-ah-ah, and that's called your semibreve. Then we have the rests of all those, of which we've come across the rest tar, which is a sa, the rest of the tate, which is a sase, and the rest of the ta, the minim, which is a sa. And the last thing that we've done so far, which is actually quite a lot already, this allows you to read 50% of music there that we will typically sing. And then another 30% are the dots, dotted crotchets, which we've come across in combination with the wee quaver, and that's a tate. And then we have a dotted quaver and a semiquaver, which is a ta-fi, ta-fita, fita, fita. It takes half the time of a ta-te, ta-te. And our last dotted one that we've come across is a dotted minim, which is a ta-ah-ah. 3 counts. Good. Now, so far we've been, before we start a bit of rhythm or any bit of music, we've looked at how many crotchets there are in each bar. And we've come across 4 crotchets per bar, which start off in give you some sort of rhythm, ta ta blah, whatever. And we've come across 3 crotchets in each bar, ta ta ta, whatever. This is just a convention so that when we look at the music, we can sort of see it split up into neat little manageable bite-sized chunks. Musicians being musicians don't like to write them out like this. I don't know why. This seems like a really good way of writing it out, but for some reason musicians have chosen a different way of writing them out. And what they've gone is saying, well, let's assume that the semibreve, the ta-ah-ah-ah, is our main note, then a crotchet, because there's 4 of those, each one is like a quarter. So we can pretend that a time signature is a bit like a fraction, and instead of writing 4 crotchets, we write 4 quarters, or 4/4. Why we do this rather than doing it the simple way, I don't know, but that's just what it means. So when you see 4/4, that just means that in every bar, it's the same 4 tars in each bar that we're really familiar with and that we've come across. And it's exactly the same with any other number on the top. So instead of 3 crotchets, you replace the crotchet beneath it with 4, stands for a quarter, and that means exactly the same thing. Now, if you're not familiar with this convention, it's a bit puzzling, especially for the question, well, if you write 4/4, and that's 4 quarters, why not just write 2 halves or 1 big note, 1 semibreve? Why 4/4? And the answer is a bit faffy, and I'm not sure there's a good reason, but there are. The 2/2 means something subtly different from 4/4, and similarly with 3/4, 3 quarters, it takes up the same time as 6/8, as 6 quavers, which takes up the time, if you're going to be really fussy, as 12 semiquavers, 12 of the taffy-tiffies. But they all mean slightly different things. So for just now, just go with me and assume that we write all of our crotchet time signatures out, like 4/4 and 3/4. So let's just practice getting into that and practice seeing that and doing a little bit of revision for where we've got to so far. So 3/4, which is 3 crotchets in each bar. Here's your first rhythm. I can't see the one on the end because you're hiding it, which is not your fault. It's mine. All right, do this for me twice through. I'll count you in. 1 and 2 and 3. Again. Great. I'm sure you got that right. It's a nice simple one to start with. Let's do it together. And ta 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 sa ta te ta ta te ta. Brilliant. And 4/4, which as we know just means 4 crotchets, 4 tars in each chunk, in each bar. Give this one a go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And again. Good. And let's do it together. And sa ta ta te ta te ta ta te fi ti fi ta. Good. Oh, and a sa. I forgot to say that. Good. Now 3/4, we know what that means. Each bar, each chunk has 3 tars in it. Do this for me twice through. 1 and 2 and 3. And again. Brilliant. And with me, I'm sure you got it right. Ta fi ta te ta, ta fi te fi ta, ta fi te fi ta, ta fi ta fi ta, ta fi ta te ta, ta fi te fi ta, ta fi te fi ta, ta fi te fi ta. Nice. And what is the time signature of this one? What are the bars? What are the chunks? Do it for me. We'll do it once through by ourselves and once through with me. 3 and 4. Great. And ta ta te ta sa sa ta ta te ta sa. Good. Nice and simple. And what's the time signature for this one? Remembering that 3 has this sort of more waltzy feel to it. Do this one twice through. 1 and 2 and 3. And again. Good. And let's check it all together. And ta ta te ta sa sa ta. Brilliant. And this one. Do it for me twice through. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And again. Good. And let's check it together. 3 and 4. Ta fi ta fi ta fi ta sa ta te ta fi ta fi ta sa ta sa ta and so on and so on. Good. So that's the first thing that we're going to do today. It's quite simple, but it is important that you know what 4/4 means and what 3/4 means, and so on. The other thing we're going to do today, which again is quite simple but very important to know, this crazy little thing at the top. Let me move it so I can see it properly. We've met all the rests below it, the quaver rests and the crotchet rests and the minim rests, and so this is our semibreve rest, the ta-ah-ah rest. Takes as long as that. Now, music being music, again, this isn't quite, it should take 4 counts. It should be sa-ah-ah. But there's a convention, just to save time and ink, that if you have a whole bar's rest, no matter what time signature you're in, if you're in 4 or 3 or 2 or 7 or 30, whatever, then one of these, instead of counting for 4, counts for as long as the whole bar lasts, no matter how long it lasts. It's just a convention. It's a slightly odd one. It makes a lot more sense when you look at it than when it's described. Hang on. So it's sort of for as long as it needs to be until you've filled up the whole bar, and then you move on. This is quite easy. Let's have a look at it all together. Do this one for me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Good. And together. So you can see for each one, because we're in 4, the whole bar rests lasts for 4, as it should. Together. Ta 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 sa ta te ta fi ta sa sa. Good. Now we're in 3, but we're still seeing these rests. Do this one for me. Just once through. 1 and 2 and 3. Good. And with me. 1 and 2 and 3. Ta fi te fi ta sa sa ta sa sa. Good. So the sa because we're in 3 lasts just for 3 beats. As long as you're feeling the beat of the bar, the 1, 2, and 3, then this just fits into that fairly simply. And the last thing that we're going to do today is a bit more complicated and quite important. We've looked at how the composer can create whatever rhythm he wants within the bar, but what if he wants to start colouring outside the lines and have some cool, interesting rhythms which go across the bar line? How we've not found a way that they can write that. So what they do, they use a sort of a line, basically, a little curved line, which is called a tie. This is the tie. It's a bit like a slur, if you know what that is. It's different to it, but looks a bit similar, but I'm not going to go into what the difference is. Just now, we're only worrying about ties, which connects notes over the bar lines. So when we're saying it with these syllables, we say the next syllable in our head, but don't pronounce it, because it's all part of the same thing. Let's do an example that's going to be much clearer than my explaining it. Let's look at this through all together. So in the first bar, ta 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 as we'd expect. In the second, ta 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 sa, as we'd expect. But between the first and the second bar, there's a tie which connects them. So instead of going ta 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 sa, we go ta 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 sa. So we sort of leave out the articulation. And then the same when we get to the last bar in this chunk. Let's do this all together twice through to start to feel it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Ta 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 sa. Ta ta te ta ta. You get it? And again. Ta 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 sa. Ta ta te ta ta. Fine. Nice simple example. let's see if you can work out a slightly more complicated example. Have a quick look at it. Work out how to say it. Work out what the rhythm is. What's the time signature? That will help. Do it for me. Twice through. 1 and 2 and 3. And again. Great. And let's just check this through a little bit slower so we can see how it all works. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3. Ta 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 te ta te ta ta te ta te ta. Does that make sense? One more time. Ta 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 te ta te ta ta te ta te ta. Good. So that one's all sort of weird and across the bar line, but it basically makes sense. Those are the 3 things we're going to cover today. That's it. That's all for just now. It's mostly like tidying up, but very important tidying up. And the last thing for you is something that my partner showed me, which is coronavirus relevant rhythmic notations. Here are some of them. You should be able to do nearly all of these. I hope you'll not find them too triggering, but I think it's rather fun. I quite like hand sanitizer. It's quite panicky. There's also, if you don't know where it says help, over the top of it is a pause mark, which means that it goes on for as long as it needs to, which I also think is rather appropriate for the times. Good. Right. So that's that. Okay. Let's stop that. I've had enough of that. Get on your feet and we'll do a warm up and then we'll do some singing. Good. Let me just move this. Good. Have a stretch. Good. Give your shoulders a roll. Good. Remember to keep breathing as we're doing all of this. Shake your hands out. Good. And give your hips a wiggle. Good. And massage your neck. Good. And loosen your knees. And massage your jaw. Good. Good. And point a toe to the floor, a bit like that, but towards the floor. And point it to the ceiling. And cycle it around in one direction and the other. Good. And bounce up and down. And point the other one to the floor. And then to the ceiling. And then cycle it in one direction and then the other. And give it a shake out. Good. And have a little sort of jog on the spot. Good. Right. Have a yawn with me. Oh, good. Have a sort of singer's yawn, an actor's yawn. Oh, good. And another one. Oh, good. Have a rough ideas here. Good. Give me a nice hot potato breath. Oh, and again. Hot potato and a sigh. Oh, good. And even sigher. Oh, lovely. Good. What should we do? Have another hot potato breath, and instead of sighing out, move the sigh into a like you're putting down your things after a long day. Good. Make sure that as you do the brr, that your throat's not getting involved. It's not going brr, it's through loads of space. Your stomach's putting loads of air through that. Good. And a little bit longer with the good. And again. and let's same nice open breathing in, and let's go. Let's have a brr for 4. And again. And brr for 8. Good. That one works quite hard. Do it again. Good. Good. And give your shoulders a roll. Make sure that they're not getting involved when you're breathing. The breathing doesn't go. That's unhelpful. Good. Good. Let's go. Same again. Breathe in, brr, out, and then open out to ah. So it's brr, so it's brr, ah. And make sure that when you go to ah, that suddenly you leave everything nice and open. So when you're doing the brr, your body has to put loads of air through it to keep it going. Let the same amount of air come out when you're doing the ah. It will be quite a loud sound. That's okay. Good. Not about making a nice sound, make a spacious and free and open sound. Same again. Good. And brr out for 3 and ah out for 3. Good. And let's go. Let's go. So making sure that there's a nice big ah space inside the v as well, like we had with the brr. Good. And again. Good. Make sure you're warming up your own voice, not mine. I'm sort of starting in medium high and coming down to medium low. So if your voice is higher than mine, then let it start off a little higher and end up a little higher. Good. Same again with a v for 3 and ah for 3. Good. Now a v as in them or those or the. V out for 3 and ah for 3. Open to ah. So the ah is already inside the v. Good. Make sure we're still breathing nice and hot potato-y. Ready? Oh, sorry, I forgot what we were doing. I'm so sorry. Just wasted your breath. Again. Good. So we're trying to, as we keep going, keeping the connection between the ah and everything we do. So the ah is inside all these consonants, and it's inside a lot of the other vowels we do. Let's do something a little bit different. We start here, and we go up, ba, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, very quietly, and then crescendo out from the note we get to. It's a bit hard to demonstrate because Zoom, it sort of compresses all the volumes, so the very loud and very loud and very quiet sound of it samey. But it's basically so let the voice float up the little scale in a really relaxed way, and then when it crescendos, don't add anything here, don't add anything here, you don't need to open your jaw any wider. Just let the air go all the way through the throat, right up into the head, and do the crescendo for you. Let the breath do the work. All right, let's start there. Good, and again. And let's try that. And so the idea is to approach these loud notes with all the relaxation we get from doing it very quietly. Let's try it very quietly and just float it up. And let's try that. Good. Let's go. The breath is going exactly the same way through the oo and the ah. And again. The oo is very hooty, like the owl oo. Ooh. Let's try that. And again. And to the. Let's change note on the change to R on the top note. And again. Good. Finally, give me a Maria. The I is still inside the E. The E just happens with your tongue. Your tongue just sort of goes up a bit at the front. That's all that you need to do to move to do the E. You don't need to go Maria. That would help. Maria. To that. Maria. Lovely. Ma from there. Maria. And to that. Lovely. Good. And we're going to put some of that to work in another song. Thank you for all your suggestions for songs to sing. I'm sorry I can't do them all. This week we're going to have a bit of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which I'm not going to teach to you because it's very long. And if you don't know it, you're in for a real treat. We're singing along with the original Judy Garland recording from the film because she is a really good singer. I mean really good. Her legato is superb and her vowels are absolutely in the right place. All the vowels connect so beautifully to the consonants and the consonants connect so smoothly to these nice open vowels. So listen really carefully to what she's doing and come along with it. Now I'm going to share the sound with you because otherwise this ain't going to work. Is it, Tim? Good. Good. And here we go. Unmute yourself as quickly as possible if this isn't clear to you. Oh, hang on. Sorry. You don't get very long in. I should have told you that. Right. Here we go. Starting there. It's quite low. Ready?
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true.
I'm just going to pause you there because I also meant to share the words and I totally forgot to do that. So I imputed to you far more knowledge of the lyrics than I'd intended. Back to, come on, Tim. Back to there. All right, let's go from the beginning again because it's lovely. And make sure that she sings somewhere that it's a nice R, and the S already has the I inside it. Somewhere. Good. Let's go from the beginning again. One more time. And then some Mendelssohn.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't
It's such good singing. It's fantastic. Good. All right. Enough of that. Let's have a look at some Mendelssohn. Blessed are the men who fear him, from Elijah, which I think you did in 2018, according to your lovely and very informative website. Good. Where's... let me just get that. Good. So here, lots of opportunities for this, for doing lots of long consonants and making sure that the vowels are inside, the vowels that we're about to sing are already inside the consonants. But we'll work on that as we go through. For just now, we'll sing it all the way through. I know some of you have joined since you did this, and it's not the most well-known movement from Elijah. So if not, we'll just sing it once through. If you don't know it, have a listen, get to know it, and then we can do bits of people's parts. It's quite well written, so it should. In fact, no, it's extremely well written. So it should be fairly easy to pick up. So we'll sing it through, then tell me what you want to get from me, and I'll give you some things to work on. Good. All right. We're going to be singing along with, who are we going to be singing along with? It's a really good question, Tim. Share sound. We're going to be singing along with the Gabrieli consort. Heads up, I don't think it's necessarily... I think it's extremely good singing. The choir is singing very well. I'm not sure it's the best recording, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll share my thoughts on the recording after we've sung it. Here we go. Super. Lovely, 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 lovely. Are there any bits of anyone's part people would like me to go over with them? Unmute yourself and speak now. If not, there are some more general things we can talk about. Good. I've not found anyone, but if not, just send me a message. If not, and I'll see things pop up. And if you remember halfway through, oh, I couldn't remember how that bar went. Fine. Good. Right. Go back to the beginning of the movement. Make sure. Okay. Let's talk about the first word. Let's talk about blessed. I was watching a video with that bass. I'm sorry, this is really unhelpful. John Tomlinson. So John Tomlinson, who, if you don't know him, is he must be about 80 now, but he's the most incredible opera singer. He's been doing huge parts for Wagnerian stuff for as long as as he's been alive, as far as I can tell. And he was being interviewed with Harrison Birtwistle, who is a sort of arch modernist composer and has written a number of big parts for this singer, John Tomlinson. And John Tomlinson talks about how to sing text, and the thing about English text being that there's loads of things that we can sing on. And I heard him once sing live. I was right at the back of the Royal Opera House listening to something, and it was unbelievable. Like, everyone else was a top level singer, and he was the only one that you could hear every single word of from about 50 meters away across an orchestra. It's utterly incredible how he does it. But when you hear him up close, he just sings for like ages on all the consonants, and that was what he was talking about. So for the blessed, you can sing the b, and you can sing on the oo, and actually you can sing for it for a full quaver before you come in. It doesn't sound silly. It's 1, 2, blessed. Doesn't sound silly. You can almost sing a whole crotch on it. 1, blessed, and it's a bit sort of affected, but it's not ridiculous, and it does make it really audible. So just try that. Sing 1, 2, blessed. 1, blessed. Good. And everyone sing the first soprano entry. It's a bit high for some people, but never mind. 1, blessed. Good. And now the second thing is make sure that air is inside the oo. So go and make sure your mouth isn't moving. That when you do the L, it's just your tongue moving up to touch your teeth here. And that when you drop the tongue down to make the air, that's all that's moving. Your jaw's not moving, your throat's not moving, your tongue's just going. It's just opening the gate to let the air out. Good. So that's the thing to think about with the first word. We're going to just do this first bit again with all this thought about text. So the early ble with the air inside the oo, that's the first thing. They ever walk in the ways of peace. There are loads of voiced consonants. So they, remember we warmed up with the. So make sure they is early. They ever walk in the ways of peace. So p joins together. Ways of peace. Good. So those are the two things to think about. Blah, really early, and when you get to they ever walk in the ways of peace, make sure every sung consonant that you can find has loads of time devoted to it. Let's do that from the beginning. and with that in mind. If you do it really well, I'll be able to hear you from where you are. Good. Back to the beginning. Here we go. Super. Much better. Thank you so much for doing that. It's easy to start off when you do your first thing, like, blessed, and then you get to near the end of this, you end up sounding like the Godfather or something. So make sure as you go through, you're still, every time, committing just as much to the text and singing it long, and really singing it. As when you start. Good. So that's the first thing that we're going to think about in this opening bit. The second is the text. There's not much text. We can do detailed work because there's not actually very much of it. How does Mendelssohn keep it going? Because it doesn't. It has this logic that keeps on going, and he does that with the way he swings back and forth between different key signatures. So sopranos, you just present the tune. And then tenors, you have a little C sharp changing key. Blessed are the men who fear him, they ever walk. That means if you have a C sharp or any sort of accidental, that means that you're grabbing the harmony and shifting it round, and you're the one that's got the job of keeping the music moving. If you don't make a thing of it, then there's nothing in the music. The journey from one key to another is how this bit has an arch. So look for the accidentals, they're important. There's a couple of other places where you need to grab hold of your part because it's important for keeping music going. Basses, in bar 15, are the men who fear him. That's C natural, doesn't look like much, but up to that point we've had loads of C sharps, and you're going, no, let's go back to G major. I liked it in G major. G major was safe. Are the men who fear him, they So that C natural is going somewhere. And then a couple of bars later you have the D sharp, and so every time you have a sharp or one of those naturals, it's moving it somewhere. And tenors, you have one more bit to be really aware of. Bar 24, near the end of the section, everyone else has sort of got to a nice D major thing, and you go, ways of peace. And as they come to a rest, you go, they ever walk in the ways of peace. You're like, no, let's just have a couple more bars before we finish. So if we don't have you making your part known there, tenors, then again the whole thing sort of deflates like a sad souffle, the worst sort of souffle. So let's just go from the beginning. All the consonants, long consonants with the vowels inside them, but also paying attention to how your part is moving the harmony round. Alrighty. Tippity top. Isn't this fun? And you can actually hear right at the end where you're all collectively going, walk in the ways of peace. Just before you get to peace, the violins and winds go like the introduction. He doesn't even give a moment for the music to settle. He's always taking it forward. Good. So those are some things to think about. Let's go on for just now. Through darkness riseth light. Those high notes. Remember that exercise we did at the beginning? Let's go. It's a really good way of finding how to place the high notes. So sopranos, take your light, for instance. Let's go. So you float upwards and float up to the note, and then you crescendo out of there without adjusting or fiddling. And it means that suddenly the breath is just going into the right place and you're not trying to fiddle or force it. Do that again with me. Sopranos, you can do it, but anyone else join in at whatever octave if you feel like it'd be good. So that's the feeling that we're going for when we go to light. Bass is same with you on through darkness riseth light with the upright. If you want to try that for yourself, just finding that note with a little piano scale up to it. It's a really good way of doing so. Good. And in this bit, the whole next page, the through darkness riseth light, light to the up. Each phrase goes up and then must decrescendo because we're all aiming for bar 37, where suddenly you sing the word light together on a C major chord, which is probably a reference to Haydn creation, in which he goes at the very beginning, und es ward, and there was light, and he sets the word light on a C major chord. It's very intertextual. Good. So if your phrases go light through the upright, then we've sort of got there. It's light through the upright. Through darkness rises light to the upright, and you go there, and then it can have waves and build, and then arrive at that C major. So let's just go from sopranos just before your through darkness riseth light for that first one, and we'll do that whole page. Good. Let's just go from here. It's a little bit early, but. Perfect. Now, here's one of the things I don't like about this recording. It's a small thing, but it's irritating. So you've just got to that C major chord, light, he is gracious, compassionate. And the choir here goes, he is gracious, compassionate. And they just sit on the com. It's just, once you've heard it, it's really irritating. And it's suddenly the music just dies for a moment. He is gracious, compassionate, compassionate. And it's got to swell through those, compassionate. And then have a sforzando on he is righteous, bar 41. Good. Let's go from, I don't know, Oh, it's all really good. Let's go from altos, bar 33, where you're through darkness riseth light. Remember crescendo all the way towards light, and then he is gracious, compassionate, and then he is pang, he is ping, he is righteous on bar 41. Altos, you're up. We'll go slightly before your entry. And then once we get there, we'll just sing on for a bit. Let's try from here. Oh, come on. Good. I'm just going to pause you there. There's a couple of things I want to say. We'll just go through the last bit in a moment. Great. Loads of good things. Often I've talked about making space for other parts in other pieces that we've done, where there's lots of voices coming in at lots of times. You do your bit and then you make space. Here, I think you've got to grab the space. So look at bar 43. After that, he is righteous. And tenors, you suddenly go, blessed are. And then sopranos, blessed, blessed. And then basses, through darkness riseth light. And then altos, you just have nice inner parts, I'm afraid. But everyone's grabbing the space. It's got to stay forte. And then over the page on bar 53, altos, where you go, suddenly have the tune, blessed. In my score, it's marked piano. Forget it. It grab the space. Blessed are the men who fear him. That's a lovely opportunity to go, are the men who fear him. Really smooth. Good. Good. So we're just going to go back to somewhere around there. I think we'll try and go for the big C major light and go all the way to the end. Keep grabbing the space when your part has a new phrase, a beginning of a phrase. And the last thing I want to say on this, in bar 55, 56, 57, suddenly no one's doing, at least it looks as in my score that no one's doing anything for the second half of bar 57. You just go, ever, the orchestra stops doing these jaggers. The bass isn't moving. It's like, whoa, what's happened? What's happening is that you've got a little swell. And if you don't do the swell, then like really nothing is happening. So if you've got to do the swell to propel the music all the way through to the coda. It's quite a dramatic wah, out and in. Good. So those are some things to think about. Nice big ping on bar 41, righteous. Grab the space when it comes. Keep doing all the text. And when you get to bar 57, the swell out. Good. Alrighty. Let's go to. This is just before the big light chord, but come in after it. Come in at the He is Gracious just after it. Lovely. Good. I hope that's been interesting. I know you've done it before and probably done it to death, but I hope that's some new thoughts or ideas about it. I'm just having a look at the time. There's another, if you want to have a listen yourself, there's another recording. The singing's not quite as good. It's by Richard Hickox and the London Symphony Orchestra. The singing's not quite as good. It's not a professional choir doing it, but the orchestral playing is magnificent. The horns are just having a whale of a time. So that's a fun recording to have a listen to. And there's also a really interesting early recording from the 20s or 30s, where they do it a lot, not a lot, but quite a bit faster than this. And I think it works a bit better. But also, because it's from the 20s and 30s, you can't really hear anything. So we weren't doing that one. Good. But to finish with, let's have a crack at Faure, the Cantique de Jean Racine. Merci. So we'll do it first. We'll do it twice through as we've been doing. Once to remind ourselves and once to have fun. And I'll give you a couple of thoughts in between. So the first one is with the Faure Yardi, and he's conducting the Paris National Orchestra, Orchestre National de Paris. And then we'll listen to one from the Netherlands Chamber Choir, which is really good. Alrighty. Because it is French, as smooth as possible. Lovely, 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 lovely. Oh, so good. Let's do it one more time. Here's a couple of things to think about. Basses, you have a great opportunity at the beginning to go and tenors no long altos not so much, but de la visible nuit. Okay, here's one general thing. When you have words like nuit, make sure it's not ooey, but ooey. A bit more like Scottish. Ooh, that's lovely. Nuit, not nuit. Nuit. Where else does it come? A few other places. Puissante. Fuyosson. So watch out for that one, and make sure if you've got an E with a I can't think, an E with one of the dashes, like on éternel, then it's a bright E, not an E, but an E. Again, a little bit Scottish. Good, those are some languagey things to think about it. This is a piece also, here's the last thing to think about, where you need to make space for other parts. See how actively, when we do it this time, if you know it very well, you can sing your part while listening to what another part is doing and sort of actively duet with them. Don't just listen neutrally, but listen to how the parts combine and whether you're going in thirds or you're going in contrary motion or whether you're clashing or whether you're resolving, all those sort of things. Whether you're starting and whether you're making room for another part. So that's enough. That's the last thing to make to be aware of as we do this one. Good. We'll cut the introduction a bit short because in the next recording, it's the singing is the real meat. The Netherlands Chamber Choir are very, very good, and the orchestra from Limburg is not bad either. Okay. Perfect. And that's all from me. Isn't that such... Oh, it's just an amazing piece. Fab. Thank you all for coming along. It's lovely to see you and to have an opportunity to witter on about some lovely bits of music. So thanks for joining me. Hang on.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
So much. Brilliant.
Thank you so much for coming along. Really good to see you.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye.
And I will see you all in a week. Have a really good,
Bye.
a really good safe.
Have a good week, everybody.
And you.
Thanks, Jenny.
Miss you lots.
Yes.
Keep safe, everyone.
Yeah, bye.
Jenny.
Yes.
Jenny, did Felicity join us?
No.
Maggie, did Felicity join us?
No.
Ah.
Just
Because I tried to persuade her.
Well, thanks for trying.
Yeah.
Oh, well, more the merrier.
Try again, Maggie.
I will. I'll give her a ring and tell her what she's missing.
Yes.
Hey, we're missing her.
Yeah.
And Marion obviously hasn't got her thing up and running yet.
No, she wasn't sure if it would work tonight or not. It's first time with the new laptop.
Yeah.
Barbara hasn't joined us either, has she?
No, not tonight.
No.
She has been, but not tonight.
Yeah, no, she was there last week. Yeah.
And Gillian, something's gone wrong with Gillian as well, because she had rung me earlier to ask for the numbers to join, and something obviously didn't work there. Yep.
Jenny, I think it's Barbara's mother's funeral this week.
Oh,
is it this week?
Possibly, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was thinking next week. Sorry about that. No.
Yeah.
And will Helen join us again? Do you know, Jenny?
I will have words with her.
Where's Janie?
Janie hasn't joined us.
No, I've spoken to Janie. Janie isn't using Zoom at the moment for various reasons, but she.
And what about the Ashes?
Liz and Pete can't. They tried it on their laptop with YouTube, really struggled, and Zoom just can't. That is not working, so they can't do, which is an absolute shame.
It is.
But I hope they'll pick it up off the internet. Maybe they'll be able to do it that way, which is why we're posting the videos of each Tuesday's rehearsal is now going up onto the website, so that people can pick up and go back and look at the theory as well and do whatever's necessary.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's good.
Fabulous what you're doing, I think.
We'll get the Faure right next time.
It was, yeah, I must say I found the Faure quite difficult.
Yeah, I'd forgotten. We have rehearsed it a lot.
Yes, I'd forgotten. I found it quite difficult.
Sung it for a while.
Without all the other altos around me. I found it very difficult.
Oh, I was singing, Maggie.
I know, but I can't hear you.
Singing too, Maggie.
I think there are three of
Anyway,
us.
night all. Bye.
Good night.
Next week.
Night, Tim. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh. Bye.
Good night.
I'll leave.
Good night.
Bye.
Night. I can't get out.
Tim will shut us out in a minute. Don't worry.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Night,
Take care.
Tim.
Go well.
Thanks, Tim.
Pleasure.
Thank you.